Well, good day, everyone, and welcome to our December Incubating Leadership Conversation. These conversations are organized by the Leadership Forum community, a nonprofit 501c3 focused on expanding conscious leadership. You can learn more about the organization or find ways to get involved by visiting our website at leadershipforumcommunity.org or by inquiring within the chat. My name is Matthew. I'm an officer within the community, and today I am pleased to introduce our provocateur, Joel Wright, and our topic of discussion today of goal setting for 2023. Joel is a special member of the Leadership Forum community. Everybody's a special member of the Leadership Forum community, but Joel currently serves as our Leadership Forum community president, and today he will be leading us through reflection of last year, or I guess I should say this year, excuse me, the year is not over yet. But reflection of this current year, your current journey and tools that will help set intentions for 2023. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to Joel to lead us.
Hey, well, great. Thanks you, Matthew. And looking forward to engaging with everyone here. And, the use of the word provocateur, it's fun to wear that title for today, I guess, as I'm formally, speaking, facilitating today, but in this community, we're actually all provocateurs. And so we all bring an incredible amount of knowledge and experience, and we're all on our leadership journey. So just want to acknowledge that and invite everyone into the dialogue today. It's always richer when everyone contributes. And so we'll go through a little bit of the agenda here so that you understand what's going on. And so Matthew said that a lot of what we're going to focus in on is kind of goal setting, thinking towards 2023. And more specifically, I want us to think about our leadership action logic. That's a heady word for thinking about how has our leadership beliefs, our thoughts, our leadership mindset continued to mature for us. And so we'll think about our journey over this year. You could even dip back a little bit earlier into COVID or a couple of years back. But we want to think about this journey of how you're maturing your leadership mindset. And I'll give you a little bit of way to understand that more in just a minute. But to do that, we are going to use a tool that people in the Leadership Forum community have access to. And that tool is called Spark. So you'll get to experience Spark. And through Spark, you will answer 3 specific questions. And those questions are actually on the screen here. So we'll slow down a little bit. You'll spend about 15 minutes by yourself, going through Spark, answering these questions. That will be a very reflective process for you. And then you'll get into a group dialogue, and you'll share a little bit of your journey. And you'll also have a conversation about another question I'll pose a little bit later. So that's a little bit of the journey. That's what we're going through today. And then connected with this idea of thoughts and action logics and ways that we understand ourselves to be leaders. John and Chuck are 2 friends that were senior fellows, researchers, authors at the Center for Creative Leadership. And this is what they put in one of their books around transforming organizations. They said, if you want best practices, you need best beliefs. Beliefs drive practices, beliefs are embedded in cultures, and cultures always win. I'm pausing intentionally for us to process and take in this quote a little bit, because our beliefs do drive our actions. And in the Leadership Forum community, we have always held this community to be one that's safe, aspirational, and people bring their leadership challenges too. And so that's part of our culture here that has served us as we're now leading into a 2nd century of impact. So there are beliefs that are grounded in this community, and hopefully everyone appreciates it. Yep, and thanks for everyone managing a little bit of their microphone. I know people have lots going on in their worlds, and thank you for that. So out there in chat, I can't see it, but I'm just going to invite people to say, what are beliefs that create an amazing, supportive culture? That could be about the leadership forum or any other one in your experience. Matthew, if you don't just mind calling out some of those that are showing up in chat.
For sure. Some beliefs that, let's see, that every voice counts.
It's a good one.
Learn from mistakes.
Oh yeah, boy. The permission to fail is really powerful.
The assumption of goodwill.
Yeah, assume positive intent. Boy, we're getting some good ones. I'm sure there's some other good ones, but I don't want to spend too much time on this. What I do want to do is get into some more of what I'm calling these action logics, these leadership beliefs. So what I'm sharing on this screen is a continuum of leadership logics that go from opportunist all the way up to alchemical. And I will send you, I'll put it in chat a little bit later. One of the top 10 most read Harvard Business Review articles is The 7 Transformations of Leadership. And that's around Bill Torbert's work around creating these 7 different leadership logics and understanding them. He's created an assessment instrument that's run by Global Leadership Associates that's out there. And I've gotten certified in it. I use it to coaching some people last week on it. It's one of my favorite things to actually talk and coach on. But just to help you understand this continuum, I don't want to go into defining all of the logics. You can look at that and be curious about it later. But I do want to unpack this continuum a little bit. So what's important to know is that when you're on the opportunistic side of the continuum and the action logic, you generally operate over the shortest time horizon with the least degree of inquiry, with the most coercive degree of unilateral power. That's how people on the lower ends of this continuum with this mindset show up. And we all have been there, and we all will probably be there at some point in the future again, because we actually slide around on this continuum at times, even though we have a more center of gravity, a central space that we regularly hang out in. And that's where we are kind of on our progression, on our ways of maturing here. And then the next set, the other side of the continuum here, you can see starts to integrate multiple time horizons. They engage in strategic inquiry into the present and the future. They interweave many types of unilateral and mutual power to accomplish collaborative intent. They recognize only timely exercise of mutual power generates the long-term, sustainable, mutual respectful transformation that's necessary over self, individuals, organizations, groups, and such. I'm going to pause for about 30 seconds just so you can take in and have a little space to process this for a moment, because I want you to just be thinking about this continuum over your own journey this past year. Okay, so now I'm going to start to bounce around here just a little bit, putting stuff out there in chat that you can get to. So give me a moment to grab the Spark location that you'll go to. All right. So what I just dropped out there into chat is a link for you to go to the platform Spark. And the first thing that's going to show up there is it's going to say, how are you, got to move your screen here, how are you using Spark? And you're going to say that you're using it as part of a group and I will get you the code that you enter in there. Give me just a moment. Where are you, code? Matthew, if you have that code right there that I sent to you, here it is. There we go.
Oh, got it. Cool.
So there is the code, and it will take you into the 3 questions. You will do each of those independently, and it'll ask you a question, and then you're going to need to select an image that helps you express your answer. And so I'm going to share one other element. No, I'm not. I'm going to trust that you all can get in there. I want to make good use of time. But you're going to select an image for each question, and then you're going to answer it using the image to help you describe it, as well as, your own thoughts and text and such. But if you spend time thinking and looking into the image, it will really help you bring about some extra depth and reflection to your conversation. So you can't see my response, but I am going to read my example to you here for just a moment. Actually, you know what? I will share my screen there. So give me a second, stop sharing, and I will click on over to another example to share my screen. Always the fun of bouncing around between screens.
Joel, this is Howard. When you gave instructions as to where to sign in, at least for me, you broke up. I didn't hear what you said in terms of once you get to the actual dashboard.
Yes.
Via the link, what to do. And I think some other people also don't see where we enter the code.
Howard, thank you for jumping in there. And that helps me get to 2 things here. So one, I'm going to share my example first here, and then I'll go back to the dashboard. So briefly, you all will be able to see these results at the end here. And so this is how I answered the first question. Think of a person you know who is a conscious leader. What makes them a conscious leader, and what impact did they have on you? So you can start to see how when I think of a conscious leader, I think of them as having an incredible depth of character like the ocean. So right there, you can start to see how the visual imagery in the picture I selected is helping me get at what's going on. And it brings a little extra depth to it. So you'll be able to see all 3 of my responses at the end. And as you go through this, you'll be able to choose if other people can see your responses. So let me go back to Howard's question. So Howard, back here, you land on this screen, you would say as part of a group, and then you enter the group ID here and you go into it. Is that clear? And so what we are going to do is we are going to use the questions for some personal reflection. So find your own way to take some notes about the question. I'm going to stop sharing and be able to share my PowerPoint deck here, and I'll get those questions back up here for you. So give me a second.
So for those of us who have access, should we continue
Yeah, go ahead.
with
Please.
Spark? Okay.
Yes, please. Thank you, Anne. Clearly, the app is having favorites today. Okay, so here are the questions. So take about, why don't we take about 10 minutes right now for people to just individually reflect on these questions. And if you don't have access to Spark, consider like what you have in your area that you would be able to grab. Like I just grabbed this Christmas tree bulb that was given to me a little while ago, and it has a tree on it. That tree can help me express my answers in a different way. And so just grab something in your environment that helps you use a little bit of a different part of your brain to process these questions. And now I'll be quiet. And if you have any questions, just drop them in chat or take yourself off mute. Great. I'm going to jump in so that we have enough time for everyone to process some time here in group dialogue. And so what you're going to do when you go into group dialogue is, do a real brief introduction, say your name, but what we really want you to do is get into sharing a little bit about, I say your Spark journey, but not everyone is able to be in there, but reviewing those 3 questions. What's been your leadership journey? How have you been expanding how you think about leadership? What have been challenges there? Just each person take about 4 to 5 minutes there. And then want to have a bigger conversation in there around, how has time impacted you? So what time horizons have shown up? What degree of inquiry do you feel you have? Meaning, do you have the ability to slow down and ask questions and dig deeper into things about yourself, your journey, a leadership challenge? And what type of power is in how you operate, as well as the culture in which you're in? So I'll drop this out there in chat so that you have it in your breakout groups. But we're only going to have about 24 minutes, I think, for a breakout group here. And then you'll come back, and we're not going to have a ton of time to debrief as a large group. I'll stay around afterwards, as many of us often do here. But go ahead and Matthew, if you can start to assign people into different breakout groups, that would be great. And while you're doing that, are the directions clear? Do you know what you're needing to do? I'll also drop this question out there in chat right now so that you have it here. So that you can carry that with you. Any other questions? Everyone good? Give me a thumbs up if you're good. Great. And as I saw Sue's thumb come up first, when you're talking, provide space for people. Provide a little bit of a pause in between people's talking in turns. That just helps our brain catch up. Sue can talk a lot more about that, but Matthew, are we all set for breakout groups?
All set for breakout groups.
Great, excellent. We'll see you all back here on the other side. And time. Having the space and time to ask questions, and even the permission to ask questions, connects with time horizons, degree of inquiry, and power that can be at play. So that probably plays out for all of us in different ways. But I just want to say thank you for attending today. Hopefully, as you look towards 2023, you can step more into the conscious leader that you're becoming. It is a becoming thing. We're always becoming more. And yes, at times we slip back and slide back into earlier behaviors and patterns. And that's normal and part of the process too. Hey, everyone, have a great rest of the day. I'm going to stay around. Happy to connect a little bit more. But thank you all, and happy holidays if we don't talk.
All right, thanks, Jill.
Good seeing you all. Good seeing you, Paul.
Happy holidays to everyone.
Bye.